Babel isn't a tower story. It's a split-tongue story. Most people were taught it's about a ziggurat so tall it offended God. But the text never says God was offended by height, and the response feels strange. If the issue was architecture, why scramble languages instead of toppling the tower? Genesis chapter 11 verse 1 uses a Hebrew word that keeps the body in view, Saphah, which primarily means lip, the physical organ, though it can function as speech or language through metonymy. This is a correspondence reading of your throat. Babel is what happens when your tongue splits inwardly, one mouth, two masters. The tower corresponds to your larynx, the vertical cartilaginous column in your neck whose primary job is converting breath into voice. The confusion corresponds to a mixing and flooding of signals, the feeling of competing impulses in the speech system, where your tongue, already physically split down the middle by a septum, loses coordination. If you keep reading this as ancient history, you'll miss the fact that your tongue is at war with itself every time you speak words your heart didn't authorize, and you won't even notice the fragmentation. We're going to decode the passage verse by verse, map the Hebrew words to inner anatomy as correspondence, and I'll show you why the tongue and throat are among the most densely coordinated motor sensory systems in the body. You're about to see why the text uses lip as its opening term, why the tower image corresponds to a vertical vocal column with distinct regions, and why the scattering mirrors the vagus nerve, whose name literally means wandering. Here's what breaks when you read this literally. Ancient people build a tall tower. God comes down to inspect it. The text frames their unity as a danger. Now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. God scrambles their languages. They scatter. End of story. But look at the internal logic. If the crime was vertical ambition, why doesn't God just knock the tower down? God has acted directly against cities before. Yet here, the structure isn't struck down. It's left standing and the people scatter. The tower isn't toppled. The unity is. That's a statement about unity, not altitude. And notice, they left off to build the city, not the tower, the city. Something deeper is happening here than a construction dispute. Genesis chapter 11 verse 1 reads, "And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech." But the Hebrew reads, "Kol haaretz saphah echad udevarim achadim." Literally, all the earth one lip and one set of words. Not lashon, a common word for tongue often used for language. Saphah is lip, a bodily word that can also stand in for speech. Strong's H8193. Saphah is most often rendered lip, the physical organ, and only occasionally language or speech. And Moses had already used lashon, tongue, 3 times in Genesis 10 when describing the nations spreading after the flood. After their families, in their nations, every one after his tongue. Genesis chapter 10 verse 5, chapter 10 verse 20, chapter 10 verse 31. Lashon. But when Genesis 11 opens, Moses switches words. He chooses Saphah, the lip, the outer boundary, the physical organ where inner intent becomes outer expression. This shift invites an inner anatomical correspondence reading. The lip is where the inside meets the outside. It's the frontier. When you have one lip, your inner state and your outer expression are aligned in the reading. There's no gap between what you mean and what you say. The passage opens with a portrait of coherence. One lip and one set of words. We're reading this as correspondence, not medical claim. The passage describes what happens when that unity fractures, when the lip divides, when competing signals flood the system, when you speak fluently but mean nothing, and you may not even know it's happening. Now we need to see what they were building, and why the Hebrew root behind tower means to magnify. Genesis chapter 11, verse 4. And they said, "Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth." The word tower is migdal, Strong's H4026. It comes from the root gadal, H1431, to grow great, to magnify. Migdal literally means that which is made great. Migdal isn't only a building word. It's used for elevated projection imagery, anything made great or raised. It's translated flower once, Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 13, describing a pyramidal bed of blossoms. And once it's translated pulpit, Nehemiah chapter 8, verse 4, the elevated platform Ezra stood on to read the law aloud to the assembly. The migdal is not confined to buildings. It's anything that elevates, magnifies, or projects upward. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 10 says, "The name of the Lord is a strong tower." The tower is whatever makes the voice reach, and the inner correspondence is your larynx, a vertical, multi-leveled, cartilaginous structure positioned at the C3-C6 vertebral level in your throat, 4 to 5 centimeters tall. It contains 3 distinct anatomical regions: the supraglottis, the glottis, and the subglottis. It's built from 9 cartilages forming a skeletal framework. The thyroid cartilage wraps around the front and sides like a shield. Thyroid literally means shield-shaped. The cricoid cartilage forms the base, a complete ring anchoring the structure. The arytenoid cartilages sit on top, pivoting to open and close the vocal folds. This columnar structure's primary biological purpose is to convert breath into voice, to project the inner upward and outward. Whose top may reach unto heaven. In the correspondence reading, the larynx ascends toward the cranium. The vocal column projects upward toward the brain's speech centers. Broca's area in the frontal lobe sends the motor commands. Wernicke's area in the temporal lobe processes comprehension. The signal travels down through the brainstem, splits into cranial nerves, and activates the muscles that open and close the glottis, the space between the vocal folds, the gate where breath becomes sound. Babel is often glossed as gate of God, while Genesis itself plays it against Balal, mixing. The glottis functions as that inner gate. The vocal folds can vibrate hundreds of times per second depending on pitch. But the builders didn't use natural materials. Genesis chapter 11, verse 3. And they said one to another, "Go to, let us make bricks, and burn them throughly." And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. Natural stone is replaced with manufactured brick, fired in kilns. Genuine mortar is replaced with bitumen. In the inner reading, this maps to synthetic speech, forced expression, doctrine stacked on doctrine. The tower image corresponds to construction rather than stillness, constant talking, constant building, attempting to manufacture identity through external effort rather than receiving it through silence. The tower image corresponds to a vertical vocal gate with distinct regions. But now we need to see what happens when the unity fractures. They used manufactured materials. Now watch what the text does when the Lord intervenes. Genesis chapter 11, verse 6 through 7. And the Lord said, "Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech." The word confound is balal, Strong's H1101. Balal's base sense is mix, mingle, blend. For example, it's used in Leviticus for mixing flour with oil. Genesis 11 leverages that mixing image. In the inner correspondence reading, this suggests oversaturation, mixing to the point where signals flood the system and coherence breaks down, like oil saturating flour beyond the point of absorption. Philo of Alexandria flags the same tension. The word choice signals more than simple difference. It paints a picture of mingling or mixing that breaks mutual understanding. What happened at Babel in the correspondence reading wasn't shattering, it was flooding. The lip was oversaturated with competing signals until coherent production failed. And the tongue's anatomy mirrors this perfectly. This is correspondence, not medical instruction. The tongue is divided by the lingual septum, a vertical band of fibrous tissue that splits the organ down the median from root to tip. Its two halves held together. The tongue is governed by 8 muscles, woven and opposing, so coordination is everything. The genioglossus, hyoglossus, styloglossus, palatoglossus, and 4 intrinsic muscles pull in different directions: forward, backward, up, down, side to side. Most tongue movement is driven by the hypoglossal nerve, cranial nerve 12, with one key exception. Palatoglossus is controlled by the vagus nerve, cranial nerve 10. Sensation and taste are layered through multiple cranial pathways: trigeminal, for general sensation; facial, 7 for taste on the front of the tongue; glossopharyngeal, for the back; and vagus, near the throat. Multiple competing signals. 8 muscles pulling in different directions. One organ split down the middle. When these signals coordinate, coherent speech results. When the system breaks down in the way the passage describes, there's a known breakdown where speech stays fluent while meaning collapses, and the speaker may not notice. That pattern resembles Babel, output without inner unity, speaking but scattered and unaware. The mixing corresponds to oversaturation, the flooding of competing nerve signals until the organ can't maintain coherence. But now we need to see the scattering pattern. Verse 8 says they were scattered abroad upon the face of all the earth, and there's a nerve in your body whose Latin name mirrors exactly that: wandering. Genesis chapter 11, verse 8. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Not the tower, the city. The construction stops not because the structure was destroyed, but because the unity collapsed. They scattered. The Hebrew word is putz, which means to disperse, to spread out, to break apart, and send in different directions. The people don't disappear, they fragment, they wander, and the nerve that controls your voice is called the vagus. From Latin vagus, meaning wandering. Cranial nerve 10, the longest cranial nerve in the human body. It originates in the medulla oblongata at the base of the brainstem, exits through the jugular foramen at the base of the skull, and travels down through the neck, past the heart, through the chest, and into the abdomen. It innervates the pharynx, the larynx, the heart, the lungs, the digestive tract. It's called wandering because it doesn't stay local. It disperses across the body's terrain. And here's the anatomical detail that strengthens the correspondence. The recurrent laryngeal nerve. It's a branch of the vagus, and it takes an extraordinary detour. The nerve that controls the muscles of your larynx, the muscles that open and close your vocal folds, the muscles that produce your voice, doesn't take a direct path from brain to throat. It descends from the brainstem all the way down into the chest. On the left side, it loops under the aortic arch, the curve of the major artery leaving the heart. On the right side, it loops under the subclavian artery. Then it ascends back up to the larynx. The signal goes down toward the heart before it comes back up to speak. In the inner reading, when the state is fragmented, the vagus signal scatters. The wandering nerve wanders without coherence. The voice disconnects from the heart center, and the lip produces noise rather than meaning. Genesis chapter 11, verse 8 says they were scattered abroad upon the face of all the earth. The pattern mirrors the vagus dispersing across your inner terrain. The signal that should unify your speech instead fragments, and the tower, the construction of coherent expression, stops. They left off to build the city, not because God knocked it down, because the unity required to complete it no longer existed. The scattering pattern corresponds to the dispersed nerve signal across the body's landscape. But there's one more anatomical detail that completes the map. There's a bone in your throat that touches no other bone in your body. It floats, held only by muscles, and it's the foundation for everything we've just traced. The hyoid bone. It sits in the anterior neck at the level of the third cervical vertebra, suspended between the mandible above and the larynx below. And here's what makes it unique in the correspondence. It's the only bone in the human body that does not articulate directly with any other bone. It doesn't connect to the skull. It doesn't connect to the spine. It doesn't connect to the rib cage. It floats, held in place by muscles and ligaments. A web of muscles and ligaments suspends it, tongue above, larynx below. It anchors the tongue from below. The geniohyoid, mylohyoid, and stylohyoid muscles connect tongue to hyoid. It supports the larynx from above. The thyrohyoid membrane connects hyoid to thyroid cartilage. Everything we've mapped, the tongue, the larynx, the throat, rests on this floating foundation. And it carries one more detail that mirrors the passage's movement. The hyoid bone develops through stages and often becomes more unified with age, an inner image that runs opposite Babel's scattering. In the correspondence reading, this reverses Babel's direction. Genesis 11 describes a movement from one lip to scattered tongues. The hyoid moves in the opposite direction, from division toward unity. Acts chapter 2, verse 3 and 4, Pentecost, 50 days after the resurrection. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Ghost, and began to speak with other tongues, as the Spirit gave them utterance. The text doesn't say they learned new languages. It says tongues of fire descended on their heads, and they spoke in such a way that people from many regions all heard them clearly. In the correspondence reading, the scattered lip was restored. The oversaturated signal was purified. Isaiah chapter 6, verse 5 through 7 describes a related pattern. Then said I, Woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongs from off the altar. And he laid it upon my mouth, and said, Lo, this hath touched thy lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and thy sin purged. The coal touches the Saphah, the lip, the same bodily term used in Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. Genesis 11 says one lip became confused lips. Acts 2 mirrors the fire restoring unified expression so all could understand. The passage, read inwardly, was never about geography. It was never about ancient Mesopotamia or a literal brick tower. It corresponds to the throat, the larynx reaching toward the higher centers, the tongue split and pulled by competing signals, the vagus nerve wandering to the heart and back, the hyoid bone floating, unconnected, yet holding everything. And the question, the only question that matters now, is this: what do you do with it? Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. One lip. That's where the passage starts in the correspondence reading. Inner coherence. The inner state and the outer expression aligned. No gap between intent and speech. Verse 7. Confound their lip. Mixing. Competing signals. Oversaturation. Verse 8. Scattered abroad. The wandering pattern. The dispersed signal. The practices reverse the sequence. You gather the signal. You allow the saturation to settle. You return to the silence where the expression is unified. Practice 1. The silence before speech. First, before any significant conversation, a meeting, a difficult discussion, anything where your words will carry weight, sit for one full breath cycle. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Do not convert the breath to speech. Just let it pass through the inner column. Second, place one hand on your throat, directly over the larynx. Feel the stillness. This corresponds to one lip before Babel in the reading. The gate at rest. The column quiet but ready. Third, speak only after the stillness settles. This trains awareness to check inward before the voice activates. You may notice your throat relaxes. Your breath steadies. The compulsion to fill every silence with noise begins to drop. Practice 2. The Babel check. First, when you catch yourself speaking words that don't match your inner state, performing for an audience, filling awkward silence, saying what you think someone wants to hear instead of what's true, pause mid-sentence if you can. Second, notice the gap, the space between Saphah, the outer lip, and your inner intent. This is the Babel condition in the correspondence, the split you can now detect. Your tongue is moving, but your heart didn't authorize the transmission. Third, either complete the sentence authentically or stay silent. The practice isn't performing correction. The practice is noticing the departure from one lip in the inner reading. The moment you notice the split, the oversaturation begins to drain. You become aware of the disconnect. Automatic speech decreases. You develop discernment between authentic expression and performed noise. Genesis 11 begins with one lip and ends with scattering. Your practice reverses the pattern. Notice the scattering. Allow the competing signals to settle. Return to the silence where the lip corresponds to unity. The passage, read inwardly, was never about a tower in Iraq. It corresponds to the dynamics inside your throat, and now you know where the inner map